with me having to relearn, reprocess, rethink what sex was, that was like taking a part of my identity away.
Just because you may need to seek help or you may be in transition and things may not be right, it doesn't necessarily mean that your marriage is bad.
Marriage is a roller coaster ride that never ends.
From the twists of having children, to the turns of overly involved parents, or the highs of buying a new home, to the lows of unexpected lifestyle changes.
Marriage is dope, but let's be honest, fam. Marriage really be tiring.
Welcome to the Left Hand Gang podcast, hosted by Jazz and Spoon.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It is the Left Hand Gang.
What up, gang?
Yeah.
What up, gang?
Yo, come on.
Dog, don't do that.
Put a little more oomph in that thing.
I'm not even talking, though.
You is.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. I can hear the hold backness in your voice.
I'm actually not holding back, fam.
I'm actually not holding back, fam.
So that's how you gonna start?
Yeah. Do we need another conflict resolution?
Do we?
I don't know.
Because you coming for me.
I ain't needing nothing.
Yeah, whatever.
You know you fine, right?
Whatever.
Nah. Oh, man. We thank y'all for tapping in with us. And I just want to say we appreciate y'all who've been tapping in these last few weeks with all the different guests and stuff that we've been having on, like the Allende's last week.
Yeah.
Famie and Daphne, yo, they something else, especially Famie. Shout out to the homie Famie. I really enjoyed that episode. What about you?
I did. I really did. But yeah, I mean, it's been really dope. My eyes twitching. Yo, every time your eye twitches and you ask somebody, like, you see my eye twitching? And then you get real still and they be like, nah, I don't see it. And your eyes like, zzz, zzz. What was I saying? Yeah, I've really enjoyed having guests on. I think that was a really great touch addition to the podcast. And it's been nothing but laughter, and I love that it hasn't been an interview. You know, these are people that we love, couples that we enjoy, and friends that we just got to sit on our couch and have a conversation with, and people got to hear that. And so I'm really excited that they got to share their stories. You know, we've had the Thorntons and the Coneys, the Silvestres, and
out there in Thailand.
Yeah, I think that's dope, and I love that they got to share their stories. And I pray that people were able to take from them, you know, the things that they said.
Yeah, and I really like the diversity in it.
Yes,
and just their lifestyles. I mean, you got, Thornton's blended family dynamic. They broke up, got back together,
right, yeah.
And here they are now. You got, Silvestres, my bad, but they're over in Thailand doing missionary work as a married couple. That's so dope that they've immersed themselves into a completely different culture.
Yeah.
And they're learning the language and plan on staying there for a while just to save souls. And I think that's just such a dope thing. We have the Coneys. Mm-hmm. Yo, shout out my man Gerald. But a very diverse marriage there with, him obviously being black and, Ali being Peruvian. And so their dynamic with their child, they're raising a mixed race child in this world. So I think that's such a dope thing.
Yeah.
And then we had some pastors last week.
I know.
Well, how did Famie put it? A faith-based nonprofit organization.
I feel like we're missing something in it. But
maybe.
Yeah, relatively, yes.
But I think that was so dope, too. And they've been married for 10 years.
Yeah.
For 10 years. And they're doing ministry together. So, man.
With careers.
With full-time careers.
Yeah.
That's just dope. So I've really been able to glean a lot from each of them in their own unique way.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's so dope.
Yeah.
So we hope that you guys have been blessed by them. And if you haven't, listen to their episodes, go back, listen to them, hear what they got to say. I think they're pretty good. And they would add value to whatever it is that you're going through in life. Sure. So How you feeling, girl?
I'm sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got to rest this morning ish, but I feel like I'm always saying that. I think that's literally my response all the time. But I'm sleepy right now, but I am encouraged. So like that's just the sidebar. You said like, how are you coming in? Like I'm coming in encouraged, which we'll kind of get to later on in the episode. And honestly, no, I won't say that. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way actually. I am sleepy.
Yeah.
Sleepy. But I'm also encouraged too because God has literally been dropping breadcrumbs for us here recently, which is crazy.
Literally carrying.
Just, man, I'm going to tell y'all, like, being literally in the hand of God is dope and scary at the same time. There's peace and comfort, but there's also like a relinquishing of control that you have to let go of, and you got to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been, that's where I'm at. I know that we're both there, but I've just been feeling it more heavily here recently with, in light of how life has been for us and whatnot. So that's how I'm coming in. That's how I feel it.
Touché. So we have about, after this one, 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
So let's give a life update / kind of like what we've learned in this season, because wait, you say this is season 2? Yeah, okay. Yeah. But we continued like in numerical order since season 1.
Yeah.
But we're wrapping up season 2.
Yeah.
Bro, this is what, 29? Episode 28?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah,
This one is 28?
Yeah.
Yo, we've recorded 28 episodes, dude.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead and like maybe this episode should be the last episode of the season, but like I'm just thinking about 28 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 1, which I don't even remember the title of. Do you? It's okay. Don't worry.
Welcome.
About it. Okay, obviously not that one. Sorry. Okay, number 2. But like from then to now, I'm a whole different wife.
Completely different husband.
Our marriage
completely
is
different.
completely different, dog. Like that was just last year.
Yeah. Yeah. September.
Roughly. Okay, yes.
Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were recording, before Kai was born, while we were pregnant.
I was still pregnant, yeah.
But we didn't officially drop until October.
Right. But let's just kind of sit there. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Like with where we've come from, or I guess essentially what are the big things that are standing out to you, popping up for you as a husband, our marriage, just whatever in life. As far as like what you've learned, overcome, or takeaways.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was just giving you different, like, I didn't want to limit it to just like, what have you learned? It could be, just a aha or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be, what's the word? I guess I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but I learned that everything that I built doesn't matter because I built it for my own comfort. Can you elaborate on that? Oh, I definitely can. And we'll probably be here.
How were you ready for that? I didn't even finish asking.
I mean, I'll be, we'll probably be here the whole episode.
Okay, let's not do that.
Okay, I'll try. You asked.
I did, but.
Okay, I'll be good.
Is that your only one?
I mean, I feel like everything is kind of wrapped up in that.
Okay.
If you want to be honest.
Okay.
So whenever I say that, of course I love living for God. I love living for Jesus, doing everything for the gospel. However, the way that I'm seeing that, or the way that I'm working in that mind frame, is changing, because in some kind of 007 secret agent type of way, I've slid my own agenda in there on how to do the work of God just thinking, all right, yeah, God, I'm gonna put it together, and then after I get done putting it together, then you're gonna tell me how to go operate it. You're gonna tell me how to go do it. And I built it out of comfort. I built it out of, I would even say, having a bit of being a control freak in a sense, because I want to make sure it goes well. I would even sprinkle in a little bit of narcissistic tendencies in there.
You are really slandering yourself.
Well, I said sprinkling in.
Goodness. Who did I marry?
You married me. Yeah, boy. But it's, and what's so crazy about it though is it was in the most nice, kind, caring servant kind of way where I've found myself being objectified by me. And so all of that to say, I created something within my own power, within my own strength, and I asked God to bless it. And I'm seeing all of that being like torn down. And I feel like God is, I think I said this on Sunday when I was preaching, but I feel like God is like just stripping me of everything that I built, of everything that I put together, just saying, nope, 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 nope. That has too much of you. That has too much of you. And I'm realizing how empty I really am. And or more so how empty I was, even though I was full of stuff, because I wasn't completely filled with him. So that's where I've been here recently. And that's what I've been learning a lot about myself. Even though, again, I've been a very nice person. I've been a very good person. But I'm really starting to see that these are areas that I really could use growth and more of God in, or all of God in, rather than part of him and and all of me.
Ooh.
Yeah, cuz.
Man. Okay. And we just got the the quick version.
Yeah, that was a quick version. I ain't even repeat myself a lot that time.
You didn't. You got straight to the point.
I got straight to. I'm told you I've
You
been
go,
practicing.
baby.
I'm getting better.
You go. So, are you saying? I think you said this at the end. You're not saying like you feel this way in like all areas of your life.
Definitely not. But yeah, no, I don't feel that way about everything.
And I just want to clarify, because I believe that we are supposed to plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, because I don't remember what you said verbatim, but I think you mentioned like you planning things out, or I don't know, like you having a plan or something and then adding God to it. But I don't believe we're supposed to go and like make the script and then be like, okay, God, read this.
Right.
But I do believe that, faith without works is dead. And so I do believe that there are some times where we have to take some steps and we do have to plan, because God's not going to give us everything ahead of time. So I just want to clarify that.
Yeah. And to double down there. I'm so corny. But more so keeping God in mind while I plan.
Okay.
Does that make more sense?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't want you to feel like you have to disclose anything that you don't feel comfortable. So, just shy away, or not shy away, but clearly communicate like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable going there with anything that I ask. So you said that everything is kind of branching out from there. Like, I'm just curious how that relates to, I guess, like this time next year or earlier in the season or even season 1. Like, when did you start to learn that? Because I feel like this was just like a boom here recently that you learned all this.
I don't know.
Or has it just been like popping up?
It's more of like a series of events, because you know how it is. Just when you just progressively go through life, you start to learn more about yourself just in passing or in general. And I've been doing a lot of work on myself here recently.
Yes, you
doing
have.
a lot of work. And so with me working out with Kofi, that has, provoked some thought. Me going through my leadership training or my leadership coaching, that has brought up some things. Just in ministry in general, turn that off. But in ministry and conversations with my parents, things have transitioned or not. Things have kind of come up. Becoming a father, that completely shifted everything for me. So that has brought up some things. So I think it's just a series of events that have really happened that has really brought that up. But it wasn't like a boom defining moment, but more of like just the peeling of an onion, just layers at a time.
That makes sense. I think for me, what I've learned are more like bullet points and not like this beautiful, like whatever you call what you just did. So not in any particular order, but one, I learned that as a mother and as a wife, but specifically now adding that mother title in, I have to start my day before y'all. I did not know that I had to do that. I thought that was like, like, oh, you can. No, I have to. If I want a successful day, I have to get up before the house. And I've learned that when I get up before everyone and I execute my routine, it sets the tone for the rest of the house, like for both of y'all, including myself. And so like coupled in with that routine. But I heard this beautiful phrase from someone: I need to have intentional flexibility. So in my routine, I have to also be aware that like, that, you know what I mean? Like that can change. It's not like by the book every single day. Getting Kai on a routine, getting myself on a routine. And in doing so, I kind of talked about this in my solo episode. It, I believe, allows you to see how you can support me. So if like, oh, she always, does this around this time, or the order of her day is this, like, or, she always takes care of this at the end of the day. Like, oh, okay, either I don't have to ask her what she's about to do, or I can go and do this for her, or I can take Kai while she does this or whatever. Like, or I can suggest something fun afterwards, or something like that. So that's, I guess, my first one, or 1.5. Something else I have learned is how to communicate more effectively with you. Well, like in the beginning, my hormones were jacked up. So
you carried a human.
I did. And then my body was like, oh my God, the human's gone. What are we going to do? Everybody back to your places, back to your place. Like, I feel like that's what my hormones were doing.
Yeah.
And my emotions.
You fed the human too.
Yeah. And my emotions, everything was all over the place. But I have learned, even in that, hopefully round 2, I remember. But I've learned how to communicate better and push through like the ickiness of that feeling of discomfort. We kind of talked about that. Kind of like the conversation we had about sex the other day. Like, it doesn't stop. Like, you don't just arrive at like, okay, boom, we've got communication. We don't really have to focus on that anymore because we've got it.
Yeah.
You do. You're still practicing. You're still using those skills. Yep. And the moment you lay that down, it just throws other things off. Like, it messes up stuff.
Throw it down, you're gonna get left behind.
Yeah, or you're gonna have issues in your marriage.
Yep, you will. You will. And to kind of jump in, like you said, you don't arrive, but it's a consistent evolution because you change as a person. Your needs change.
Yeah.
Their needs change. Your vocabulary changes.
Yeah.
Their vocabulary changes.
That's real.
And so you have to continue to learn one another as well as learn yourself so that you can effectively communicate.
Yeah, that's real. That's so good. Um, the last two things are I learned to allow my husband to be a dad. Kai has a father and a mother.
He does.
But sometimes I play the role of mom and dad, even though I don't have to.
Yeah.
And then when dad is doing dad's job, I'm hovering or inserting so many suggestions, or like I'm right there that it's like, well, dang, do you want to do it? But you're so sweet and you don't say that, even though like I feel like that's what I would do. I'd be like, yes.
You've been a helicopter wife.
You said you was gonna rest. I said I was gonna let you rest. Like, helicopter why? Spouse. Or if I'm bathing him, do you have to be in here too?
I mean, if you want to, you can. I mean, cool. Family time, great.
So yeah, I've learned to allow you to be a father, and in whatever way that looks. It doesn't have to look, the way that it looks when I am being mom, because you and I are not the same person and we don't have the same role. So
not at all.
And then the last thing I learned is recently, do it for your why.
Do it for the why?
Do it for the why. So I've always heard people say growing up, especially like even my mom, I'm doing this for my kids, or I did this for y'all, or, people say, like I'm going to accomplish this for my kids, or, things surrounding that idea. And I always wondered like, oh, that's cool. Like, but why are you doing it for them?
Yeah. Like,
do it for you. And now that I have a son,
you get it.
I get it. I was battling taking this huge, well, I won't say huge. I boosted that. But
for you, it's huge.
It was a huge leap, I guess, for me. But I was nervous about it. Like, I was really like, because it required me to put myself out there. And
what was the leap?
Reaching out to an organization.
Oh, yeah.
About bringing Sam's Butterflies to their summer program. And this was an organization that I kind of sort of knew, and like, it was just on my heart to just do it. But it was like, me go to them and ask them, like, basically I had to put together my brochure and I had to be confident to sell what I really believe in, which is Sam's Butterflies, this curriculum that God has given me over the years. And just to send the email, I had to work up so much courage just to like put myself out there. And the quote came to me from that poem: our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are, I don't remember exactly the wording, but that we are more capable or more powerful than we, yes, more powerful beyond measure. And that was true. Like, my fear wasn't that I was going to be rejected. I thought that was my fear. So I thought like, oh, if I don't reach out, like, I don't have to worry about rejection. Yeah. But then I realized I'm not even worried about a no. Like, that really wasn't even it. I was like, God told me, he was like, you're more worried that you're going to have to actually execute this idea, this grand idea that you have in your head. Like, you're going to have to actually make it happen. Yep. And that they will say yes. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo, you're right.
Watch out, bro.
Like, dang, I didn't even know that. And so I happened to be holding Kai at the time. It was like nighttime and I was rocking him and stuff. And I was about to put him in his crib for bedtime. And I just looked at him and I smiled. And like, I had tears in my eyes because I was like, you're my why. Like, God told me if you won't do it. So right before that, God said, if you won't do it for you, do it for your why. And I looked at Kai and I was like, you're my why. Like, you're the reason why I want to do all these things. Like, and in that moment, I was encouraged. Like, I won't do it for me, but my kid gives me strength. My kid encourages me. My kid makes me feel like, yo, I can do this, because I want him to know that he can do it. And I don't know, they just give us some like super strength or whatever. So that has been the biggest thing. And I found myself to be more bold here lately, and it's all because of this 1-year-old baby boy, or toddler, I should say, who, like, I'm not gonna say he don't know what we be talking about, because he be knowing what we saying to him. He knows some stuff. But yeah, all because of him. And then sorry, last thing. I've learned to be present, and I don't know if you remember this, but we were sitting on the couch one day. This was Kai was maybe 5 or 6 months, maybe. Okay, I guess I don't know. He was a baby.
He was under 1.
Yeah, and I said to you, I need you to be more present, and I want us to be more present. So when we're talking to each other, putting our phones down, and if I'm not like paying attention, I want to be able to say, hey, can you give me a minute? Let me finish this video I'm watching, or let me, finish this text, or can you give me a few minutes so that I can actually be present for you when you're talking to me? Because I realized we were forgetting the things that we were telling each other. Yeah. Like we would literally talk about something, but it was happening in passing while we were multitasking. And I've learned the beauty in that. Because I feel like it was something we did really well before the baby, and then the baby came, and then you're doing 8,000 tasks, and then you also have like maybe a few hours of sleep, and I think we just need to remind ourselves of that. So since we made that commitment to each other, I have seen a big difference, and that was something I learned that I guess it kind of goes back to something we said earlier. Seasons change, and I guess it ties into the communication. You do have to revisit certain topics. You do have to have difficult conversations, even though it's something you've already talked about. Yeah. Or you talked about this part of it, but you didn't talk about that part of it. And you can't just expect the other person to just do
or just know.
Yeah. And so those have been my biggest takeaways, and I'm kind of proud of where I've come and where we've come. We're coming up on 4 years.
Yeah. You actually like me that much?
I do. I do. You're actually that patient.
Yeah, you're right. I am.
I know you like me, but it's the patience.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's something that God has graced me with, patience.
Yeah.
I am graced in the area of patience.
And let me just say this. I say that, because you really are patient. But that doesn't mean I get to frustrate that grace.
Oh no, because I hold you accountable.
Yeah. And I believe sometimes I can speak for women that I know. Our mouths, our stubbornness, our attitudes, so many different things. We can be the more difficult partner oftentimes. Not in every relationship, but oftentimes. And men, y'all usually will eventually just y'all are already patient, and then it becomes I'm just going to let her do what she wants to do. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that we get to just, this is just who I am. This is just how I am. And he's going to have to just get over it, or he's going to always have to bend. I don't think that's fair. So I just want to insert that. I don't frustrate your patience as much as I did in the beginning.
How you know?
Because you're still here and we don't talk about it.
Is there a reason why we don't talk about it?
Yeah, because I've grown.
Oh, you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, as long as you're confident in your growth, go ahead, girl.
Mm-hmm. I know where God brought me.
I know. I do too. I was there.
And I know how you stay on my head.
I was a part of the bringing.
He be breaking the kid, bro. He be reminding me, so I know.
Oh, man. You said a whole lot.
I did.
It was a mouthful. And I think it's just a testament of your growth and how far you've come. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing that you can talk about your past. And it's not like we talk about our past in terms of the things that we used to do. I was out here drinking and I was out here doing this, blah, blah, blah. But the inner work, that we get to talk about, not just behaviors.
Yeah.
So when we get the opportunity to talk about the inner work that's happening within us and we can speak on it freely and boldly, that's just a good example, or a good display rather, of the work that we've put in. And so, we get to celebrate ourselves for that.
Thank you, baby.
Because
we do.
Because that was hard. It was hard.
And was.
I'm just thinking about myself. Like, it was hard to realize, or hard to hear that, hey, I know that you're nice, but why are you being nice? What's your ulterior motive? Is it so that people can like you or see you? I don't think that's very genuine, sir. And I'm like, nah, I ain't even like that. But that's a big pill to swallow. And to be able to recognize, like, yo, I've been objectifying myself. Yo, that actually was a narcissistic tendency there. That the fact that you got mad or bothered or upset because people didn't acknowledge you. Not acknowledging you for your hard work, but just acknowledging the fact that you did it, or just acknowledging the fact that somebody did it. Like, I thought, says the Lord, I thought you were doing it for my glory, not your comfort. That's hard to hear.
It is.
And it's even harder to grow from, because now I'm like, okay, now God, now that you've highlighted this, now that you've pointed this out, what in the hell am I supposed to do now? Because I've been operating like this for 30 years. So how do I undo 30 years worth of programming, worth of habits, worth of behaviors? And also, how do I work through this without beating myself up for not getting over it in a week? So show me how to be patient with this growth. Give me the grace to give. Give me the grace to give to myself that you give, that you see me in. I don't even know if I said that right, but y'all get the point. So yeah. Anyways, that's been really, really eye-opening for me. And you know me, you know your husband. If there's something that needs to be changed, I'm all in. I'm going right at it. I'm going right at it, which is great. But at the same time, it's like, hold on, bro. Slow down and get an understanding of why this was even a part of your natural behaviors. Why was this even a part of your natural thinking patterns? So we start to get into generational curses. We start to get into how we were raised. We start to get into how we were treated or what we allowed to happen. So we end up going down this path or this journey of self-discovery. And I've been learning a lot about me. A whole lot. It's been good. It's been bad. It's been dope. And it's been trash. I did not try to make that rhyme. That's just how it came out.
I think right now what I'm working through is there are two things that are coming up for me. One, I recently attended the women's conference, the spring. I'm gonna start over. I recently attended the Spring Fling Women's Conference at Trinity Church in Cedar Hill. I don't know why my mouth couldn't get that. I had to slow it down. And I believe it was the speaker Friday night. I believe her name was Tracy Wild. And she talked about how we sometimes curse the valley, and the valley points in our lives, the low points, but God didn't curse the valley. And God is still with us in the valley. Therefore, the valley is a blessed place. Ooh. It's not a cursed place. Ooh. Just because it's a valley. Ooh. And so
that preacher in me getting stirred up, girl.
Hey, he might need to come out. So that is where I have been sitting, because once I finally realized the valley that I'm in right now, I am cursed. I have cursed it. I'm done with it. I'm like, God, get me out, fix it. But God's like, but I'm still providing here.
Yeah.
It's a valley and it's a desert area, but you still have water. You still have all your needs met. Aren't you still comfortable? Like, it's a little tight and you don't know how you're going to get out, but aren't things still well? Don't you still believe in me? Don't you know that I'm here? And I was like, yo, you're right. And so once I was convicted of that and I had to pray, man, there's so much peace knowing that God's with me in the valley, because that means like, God, you literally are setting up the stage so that you can show out. Like, this is like the setup for a perfect testimony. I'm not gonna say perfect testimony. This is the perfect setup for a testimony. So, I say that to say, like, I have to keep reminding myself sometimes. It's not like a one and done, but what in our life is, right? But I have to remind myself sometimes, like, hey, this is a blessed place. Yeah. Okay, since we're gonna trust God and we're going to love Him through this, and we're going to wait on Him. And so that's one thing I'm working through. The other thing that came up for me is I'm reading a book called Girls on the Brink, and it's talking about the unfortunate world that our teen girls are growing up in, and how that's shaping them, and how teen girls are more susceptible to anxiety and depression than boys. And I forgot the number, but it's a pretty significant difference. And it's all about how our makeup, and then they talk about like the environmental factors that influence that, etc. And then they go on to talk about, as parents, how can you support your teen through that and ultimately prevent it. And the part that stuck out to me that I read is how we were raised, which is an obvious truth, but how we were raised will ultimately impact how we raise our children. Yep. So, literal example, if my daughter comes in and she like has an attitude, or she comes and talks to me about something that she did that I for sure would be so disappointed in or whatever, my response is likely going to be from some type of trigger, or how I saw it done in my home, or like how my mom would have done. That's essentially what I would do. And so they talk about doing inner work and dealing with those things that trigger you, so that when you are triggered by your teen emotionally, you don't lash out. And how hard is that? And so I am sitting with that right now. Like, that's the thing I'm working through. What?
Oh, you're good. I just heard a sermon title. I gotta put this down in my sermon notes.
Okay. I'm that's the thing that I'm working through now, is I'm going back and I'm facing those things, and I'm asking God, okay, God, show me those areas that are not smoothed out. Show me those areas, God, that I learned how to suppress or just walk through, and maybe they are not affecting me now, but later on down the road they will come up, and I don't want that. And so that's my next, or that's the road I'm traveling down right now. So yeah, I'm sitting there. The valley is a blessed place. And what are those things that I need to deal with so that they don't come out the wrong way later on?
Man, this is so good. So when you were talking about, I had to get that out like right
there. I see. I'm glad you got it.
Baby, I don't even think I finished, but I left off at a good point, so I know how to pick back up. But when you're talking about the valley moments, so like, right now we're in a valley moment right now, especially with it being financially. And we talked about that in the last life update, whatever. I think maybe, I don't know.
I think we did months ago, and that was like when it it wasn't even a valley at that point.
Yeah, we was just going downhill.
Yo, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, that was a really hard day, and
No,
like
yeah.
it was like, okay, where are we gonna go from here? But
Mm-hmm.
now we down. we at the bottom
we at
now.
the bottom now. Yeah, we at the bottom.
Yeah.
And so like with us, walking through what we're in right now, with our financial situation, we've been stretched. We've been stretched in our thinking. We've been stretched in our prayers. We've been stretched in how we've been, Matthew 6:33, seeking first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Like, we have been stretched, y'all. I mean, man, I don't even know if I can stretch anymore. We're going to see. But in this stretching, God has yet still provided.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kid you not. It was like 2 weeks ago, I got a random check in the mail from the IRS about taxes from 2021.
Like random.
A random. The government don't give nobody nothing for free.
Nothing.
And I got a random check in the mail. We've had we got a random blessing.
Multiple.
Yeah,
friends.
multiple. Friends were just, hey, the Lord put this on my heart to give y'all a gift, and boom.
Yo, we can't make this up.
It's been so crazy how God has reminded us, been dropping these reminders on us. It seems like every week, every other week or so, like, hey, I'm still here. I'm providing for y'all, even though y'all are in this valley.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I believe a lot of us curse the valley is because we're not like elevating like we feel like we're supposed to be. Like, we're not surpassing people, or we're not accomplishing the goal or accomplishing the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the reason why I believe that God allows us to go through valley moments is so that we build our character and our integrity and our prayer life and our stamina in the darkness where nobody can see us. Because when we do become successful, it's going to be the valley moments that are going to rise up and sustain us when we are successful. Many of us have been trying to build platforms in front of people, and we mess up, or we fumble, or we do whatever, and we're ruining our witness. We're ruining people's perceptions. We're ruining certain things that people weren't exactly meant to see, but we forced it because we've been watching all these videos and these affirmations, and we've been doing all of these things thinking we got to get it. I can sleep when I'm dead, or I got to grind to this and blah, blah, blah. And we haven't allowed God to fully develop us in the valley moments because we refuse to go to the valley. And so even in the midst of us going through this valley, our perception had to change. And we have to ask ourselves, and I said this, I think I said this Sunday when I preached on Sunday, but if God doesn't give us anything else, would we still praise him? Would we still worship him? Would he still be Jehovah Jireh, our provider, even though he even though he didn't answer, or if he stopped answering prayers? And so I had to tell God, and my flesh, y'all, I ain't gonna lie, my flesh ain't like this. I said, God, even if you don't answer another prayer, I will still serve you. Even if you don't pay these bills or get these things taken care of, I will still serve you. I said, God, you've already done enough. You did enough when you allowed Jesus to die on the cross for us. That in and of itself is enough. So I am content. We like to use Paul, that Philippians, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Well, he's strengthening us right now to be content, to be able to go through this valley moment that we're in. And I wasn't trying to go into no valley. But had I went against God to get as far away from the valley as possible, I would have put my whole family in jeopardy because I got out of alignment with God because I didn't like the direction that he was taking me. So for husbands or future husbands, whenever God is leading you into a valley, go. Because he's going to sustain you in the valley moments. He's going to develop you. And he's going to develop you in the presence of your wife and the presence of your children. So in those low moments, you're teaching your kids, that is the kind of man that I want to be, or that's the kind of man that I want to marry whenever we go through hard times. Your wife is looking at you saying, that is my man, that is my covering. And I'm going to do any and everything that I can to support him, to be there for him, to nurture him, to cover him as he walks with God during this valley season. Because I'm watching him go through. I'm watching his pride being broken. I'm watching his confidence fall. I'm watching him lose out on so many opportunities. I'm watching him pray for other folks and his prayers ain't even getting answered. I'm watching how his integrity has not changed throughout this entire process. And that is the man that I love. That is the man that I care for. That is the man that I am happy to serve for the rest of my life. So husbands, I'm telling y'all, the last thing that you want to do is go against God just because he's leading you into an environment or into a season of your life that you are not rocking with. I would rather be led by God into a dark season, into a low season, into a low place, than be led on my own accord, or to be led by my feelings, emotions, my intelligence, my degrees, my experiences. I will throw all of that away just so that I can be led by God. Because if you're being led by God, it's going to work out. Mm-hmm. It is going to work out. It is going to work out. So, you
get it, Pastor?
I feel like I got it. I feel like I got it that time.
You went ahead and went into that sermon, huh?
A little bit. No, I really, actually, no, I didn't. And I'm not going to. So what's coming up for you?
You kind of mentioned like for the man, when you feel God is leading you into the valley moments, to just go. And what I started thinking about is what that looked like for me, because as the wife, I had other solutions.
You too?
That sounded much better than what you were presenting me. But because I am a woman of prayer, and I don't say that boastfully, I'm not saying that, like to be arrogant, but because I spend time with God and I have a relationship with God, he humbles me and keeps me in alignment. And I knew what I wanted to present was out of flesh, and it was me, and it wasn't from God. Although God did not give me the direction and like practical steps that we were supposed to take while we're in this valley, he was answering my prayers. My prayers were, God, give my husband vision, give him divine strategy. Lord, show him, what we're supposed to do. Like literally, those were the prayers that I was praying. And then you would come to me and be like, okay, baby, I have this idea, or, I feel like this is the move we need to make, and I had so much peace. Mm-hmm. Like there was never any resistance. Even those times where I said, okay, let me just think on it, just so I didn't answer in haste. It never changed. Like I still had peace. And so in the valley, hey,
yeah,
I feel a book title.
Yeah, in the valley.
In the valley.
Huh.
Or devotional.
Valley devotionals? Devotions in the valley?
In the valley. A devotion.
Devotional Bible, devotional reading.
4 times. I don't know. We're gonna find it.
Yeah, we're gonna find it.
We're gonna find it. But I feel that. In the valley, I have. You already said this, and before you said it, I was already thinking it. I have been cultivated more in the valley moments of my life, especially this one, than I have during my good times.
Yeah.
And we curse the valley because we don't, you mentioned, we don't see ourselves excelling. We're not elevating. And we also can't do anything.
Nope.
Like, we talked about how God has literally been providing and sustaining us. Like, it's literally like the children of Israel, like fresh manna every day. Mm-hmm. And didn't he tell them, like, and quail, and don't store it up?
And don't store it up on the 6th day.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so God, like, literally, I resonate with that so much because he's literally giving us little bits, like that check in the mail. God, please don't take this the wrong way. But like, it could have definitely been way more. And we could have like really used.
And
you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It wasn't a huge amount, but it was a reminder. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, it was God saying, like, I'm still here. And if I can do this for you, imagine what else I can do. Keep trusting me. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, and because they didn't come from the enemy. Nah. He ain't sending me no checks in the mail. And he ain't sending me scriptures to help me get through.
Nah, he keeps sending us them you can get this credit card, right? Blah blah blah. That's what we get.
Right. No, big facts. That's literally him.
I can't tell you how many credit card emails we done got.
Oh my gosh. Yo, baby, that's so real. So, in the valley, God shows us, or at least in our valley, God has been showing us that I will sustain you. And so when you keep your eyes on me, you will continue to walk. You will continue to be fed. And I'm only giving you enough to sustain you, because if I give you more, you're going to run out with the testimony, forget about the valley, and go on about your merry way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
because it's not time to testify.
It's not. Which means I'm not done yet. Mm-hmm. And I just want to encourage people too, because there are times, I've learned this from my pastor, there are times where you have to fleece God in your prayers. And that means I ain't, running my finger upside God's head like I would talk to, like, somebody that I'm going off on. But like, I'm telling God who he is because of what he said in his word. So I'm not making up things. I'm literally praying to him. God, this is what you said. Yeah, you said that you clothe the lilies of the valley, and you said that you take care of the birds of the air. And you said, aren't I not much more than that?
You said it.
You said you already know the needs that I have. That's Matthew 6. Like, I'm telling you. So unless you a liar,
like,
I mean,
pull up.
I mean, unless you're not who you say you are, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm reading your word. This is what your word says.
You said it.
God has no choice but to come through.
Yeah.
And I have seen it. Like, when your back is against the wall, okay, you put God's back against the wall, because he can't fail.
He cannot. He will not.
He cannot, and he won't. And there's a certain heart posture with that too.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm not
you
saying
gotta have a relationship with God.
Yeah. I ain't saying you just out here reckless and just ruthless talking crazy to God. There's still a reverence there. There's still a respect.
You have to like you have to have an investment. Yeah, you have to have something that you can draw from.
Yeah, that's
because you have people that expect certain things from God, but they haven't deposited anything. Mm-mm. You haven't deposited anything.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that you mean you're supposed to be perfect and you never sinned and you gave your life to God and you're perfect, you speak in tongues. No, but what do you deposit into God?
Yeah.
Do you deposit your prayers, your time? Do you deposit into, because your deposits into God will also impact and affect other people. So when you show God's kindness to people, when you're generous or you're nice or you do things for people unprovoked, not wanting anything in return, but you have to deposit in order to withdraw. And a lot of us out here delinquent with God.
Delinquent?
A lot of us out here delinquent.
Ooh.
You know, we God has called us to do some things, and we're uncomfortable, we're scared, we're afraid, we don't like it. That don't sit right in my spirit, or whatever you want to call it. But we're expecting God to come through for us. How can you expect God to come through when you've done nothing that he's asked for you to do? And the thing that you did do, you halfway did it, which really in the eyes of God is total disobedience, and you didn't do it anyways. So when you have an investment with God and you've poured into God and you've sown, then God does have a choice, but since he's so good and he's so gracious, and God is obligated to his word.
He said he puts his word above his name.
His word. Was it in Isaiah? Somewhere in Isaiah, where it says that he puts his word above his name.
His word, y'all, above his name.
So God's word does mean everything. Because I ain't trying to preach and get into theology and stuff, but in the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God. So God's word means something. It means something. So if he said it, then it will happen. It should happen. It will come to pass. So we gotta check ourselves like, yo, have I been investing in God, or have I been doing God's stuff with my own ulterior motives or intentions slidden into that agenda? Do I have an agenda and I'm just utilizing God as the face of it? So we gotta check. We gotta check our investment. We gotta check our investment. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in on you.
You good. You're good. That was really powerful though. You're right. So I'm encouraged. Yeah. I say all that to say that, do I want to get out of the valley?
Yes.
I definitely do. But I also want to get out of the valley in God's timing, because I don't want to prematurely come out of something and I didn't get what I was supposed to get, and then I got to go through it again.
Yep.
Or I'm put in this situation again and I can't get out of, I can't get out of it because I'm not doing anything. But like, you know what I mean? I can't even sustain in it. I'm too weak in it because I didn't get what I was supposed to when I went through it the first time. Yep. Or somebody comes to me that's in this same valley and I can't help them because I didn't take care of what I was supposed to.
I didn't finish
you know
my
what
journey.
I mean? Like I can't encourage you. The word says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Word. I ain't got no testimony, so
because I ran, I got out.
I can't help you. You know what I mean? So, I am expectant though. Like when I tell you every day I wake up expecting.
I do. I be looking for it.
I literally do. I know. I do.
I be looking. Like, what's up?
I do.
Checking the bank account. Oh, okay. Nah.
I check the bank account. I check my emails.
I check the mail.
I check my text messages. Yeah. I do it all. I'm expecting God to do something miraculous, to do something great. Yep. And I'm expecting a grand testimony. And I told God, Lord, remind me of every person that I told about this valley moment, that I asked prayers for, or that I just maybe even mentioned in some capacity, because I want to go back and I want to tell them what you did.
Yep.
I can guarantee you this will not be a silent victory.
Oh, no.
This will not be one that I sit on. Okay. So, yeah, I'm encouraged. And there was something I was going to say, but I'm drawing a blank. I don't know.
Well, one thing I will say as we get ready to wrap this thing up was, and if your thing pops up, I'm sure it will sometime, but one of the prayers that I've had for us has been, Lord, put me on people's minds. Mm-hmm. For all the people that I've been there for, I've helped, I've done whatever, God, cause them to remember me. Mm-hmm. So that you can use them to aid me or to serve me or to assist me during this valley moment. Because I would rather I just want those seeds that I planted to produce something that I'm not trying to get rich off of. I'm not trying to like be the man off of. I just want to be sustained during this time. Yeah. And so God, remind them of the things that I've done. Cause I ain't gonna lie. I'm the type of person, I forget whenever I do things for people. I just do it and I go about my business. You know, I'm nice, genuine, whatever. And so I really be forgetting. And so I'm like, hey God, if I done helped anybody, allow them to come to my aid. Allow them to come to my rescue. And a lot of people would see that as like backwards, or I don't know, self-centered even. But I want those things to produce something. And so if I was able to be a blessing to somebody, it would be dope for them to have the opportunity to do it for me. It would be nice. It would just be such a cool thing for them to have that opportunity. So I'd be like, hey God, put me on people's minds. Allow people to think about me like, hey, what's Spoon doing? What Jazz doing? And I kid you not, that has happened. That literally happened like 2 days ago.
It did.
That literally happened 2 days ago. I had a random person I hadn't talked to in a while hit me up like, hey, such and such was asking about you. What you doing these days? And so I'm like, okay, God, my dog. So you do hear me sometimes, a little bit.
Not just, it was a little more to it too.
Oh yeah, it was a lot to it. It was a lot. It was a lot to it. And I'm looking forward to that opportunity too. So he's just been dropping breadcrumbs on us. He's just been dropping breadcrumbs. Reminders. I'm here. Y'all good.
Y'all good.
Y'all good. Yeah. I'm like, all right, we good.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is
it came back.
It did, and I've been holding it. Because I didn't want to cut you off. So in the beginning of the valley moment, I was content because I was, I had faith. I was like, it's not going to get that bad, and like God's got us. The word says to look to the hills from which cometh your help.
Yep.
That's where I was. I was really like looking to God. And then we kept getting pushed further forward into the valley, and it was like, oh, hey, wait. And then I was like, okay, it's getting tight in here.
Yeah, it's hot too.
I'm finna go and make something happen. So I started putting stuff together. And then it was like, but I'm only doing a little something. Like, I'm not doing a grand plan. I'm just making like little small plans. And then every last one of them failed. Like, when I tell you just dead end, like nothing. And then I realized, with the help of the Lord and my husband, that was Jasmine trying to crawl her way out with no tools, nothing, just on her own, get out of the valley. But I was trying to put the family on my back, like I was not leaving by myself.
Yeah.
But my work was in vain. So,
yep.
So once I had the realization that I needed to just stop, and that my eyes were no longer on God, they were on me, and I was asking God to, come with me, I had so much more peace than I had had this entire journey. Like, when I tell you I have no idea, I don't have any plans. I have nothing. I have no way of knowing. I've tried all those things in my mind and physically.
Yep.
So I've got nothing now. And I have more peace now than I had in the beginning when I actually had some plans.
Crazy.
Because I know that in sitting here waiting on God, he has to do it.
He has to.
Like, I have peace knowing that there's nothing else for me to do. So that means that God has to do it. So it is well with my soul. So that was the last thing I wanted to say.
Yep. How you feel?
I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good. What about you?
Yeah, me too.
You preached like 3 times.
I did. Hey, they were short sermons though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told
you didn't repeat.
I didn't repeat. I think I may have repeated one time, but I'm growing.
You're human.
I'm growing. So, but I'm grateful that we get the opportunity to like just share one of the realities of a godly marriage is you're going to go through valley moments. You're going to go through them. I would even say orchestrated by God.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to go through them. And there's nothing that you can do to save yourself from going through valley moments with God. Nothing. Like, you can't save enough. You can't. You can't prepare enough. There's nothing. You just have to. The only preparation is the heart to go. That's it. Just obedience. That's the only thing that's going to prepare you for the valley moments. Total dependence on God.
Yeah. And I believe it's not always just cultivated in the valley moments, but that intimacy with God in the good times, you know, that helps you in the valley moments, because I think about us and how we've been tried, like, as a married couple. The enemy has, like, literally caused, like, I can't tell you how many times, I mean, we've had disagreements outwardly, or, you know, my attitude comes out outwardly, but there have been many times where I have caught myself and I had to, like, say, my husband is not the enemy. Like, I literally had to say to myself, I'm fighting alongside my husband. I'm not fighting against him. And that's hard. That is so hard. So you talking about how, like, the valley moments are going to come. And as a married couple, you know, we're sharing the, you know, yeah, we're encouraged and all that. But we have had moments where we've had to tell the other person, like, I think your emotions are getting to you. I think the stress of our situation is going on or getting to you. What do you need? And then that person is able to say, you know what? You're right. I need a break. Okay, what does that look like for you? I don't know. I need to leave the house, or I need you to take the baby, or I need some quiet time, or, you know what I mean? Or I need to go out with a friend. Like, back to that communication.
Yep.
And all those things that are cultivated outside of the valley moments, because in the valley, you're using everything, okay? All your tools, all your resources. And so I didn't want to let this podcast episode end with you, after you said that, and make it seem like, yeah, we're just smiling through it. You know, we're so encouraged, and like, because I told you I was cultivating stuff. I was planning and all that, and God humbled me, and I had to get back in position. So, yeah. So yeah, that's the last thing. Putting a pin in it. I'm done. I don't know about you.
We good. We good. All right. So, we just ask that y'all continue to be in prayer for us.
Yes, please.
Continue to keep us lifted up in prayer as we walk through this. And I'm looking forward to next week's episode. We got our sis coming on, talk about some things. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But what is it? Hoodies.
Hoodie sale.
Hoodies, 20% off.
Wow.
What is it? Gang 20. Gang 20 is the promo code for 20% off on the hoodies. We're having a summer sale. So get yours. We got a few sizes that are sold out, but like I said, get yours. Gang 20 is the promo code. We love y'all. Y'all be easy. Peace. Thank y'all so much for tapping in with the Left Hand Gang podcast.
Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, and rate us.
And lastly, please don't forget to check out our website. That's lefthandgang.co for merch and ways to stay connected.
Catch you next episode.
Gang.